All right, everyone, what's up? It's Monday, December 19th, 2022. It's your host, as always, Adam Martin and Big Marcel. It's the MMAOB Daily Podcast. And Marcel, today's going to be the last one of the year. We'll do this show, the recap of UFC Vegas 66, and then we're going to do a quick one after this, Marcel, just to go over fight announcements and any questions people have before the holidays. We'll take those. But that will be it for the year, Marcel. Obviously, next week's like Boxing Day and Christmas. I want to give us both time off. And as far as like 2023 goes, we'll let you guys know what the plan is. We'll tweet it out. The hope is that we come back, obviously, Marcel, in the early New Year's, but obviously there's some stuff going on behind the scenes that we have to talk about. But for now, we'll do today's show, and I'm excited to do it, man. How's it going, man? I haven't talked to you in a week, so how you been?
Yeah, I'm doing well. By the way, behind the scenes stuff, nothing between Adam and me. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
So,
We're good.
Yeah,
I have a lot going on.
yeah. So, yeah, it's okay. It's like last event of the year for the UFC. So a little bit of kind of, how do you say that? Kind of a little bit more laid back, I think, in the upcoming weeks. We still have Rise and Bellator coming up, and Cage Warriors, last event of the year.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, MMA all good. I mean, what can we say? Looking forward to a recap this card with you.
Me too, man. I always look forward to it. What's up, Rex? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And Merry Christmas to all you guys as well. I really appreciated that. What's up, guys? Hey, what's up, Joe? Man, you guys are killing it. The Philadelphia Eagles are amazing. But apparently Jalen Hurts is injured. He's hurt. Jalen Hurts is hurt. He might not play this weekend, Joe. That's not good. Who is the Eagles' backup? Is it let me check who it is. It's yeah, who is your Gardner Minshew? Oh my God, you're in trouble, Joe, if you got Gardner Minshew starting. So, for your sake, Joe, I hope that your Eagles get Hurts back. Rex is asking about Ontario betting. I mean, I haven't heard anything. The last thing I heard was like a few weeks ago. Someone said maybe January or February, but honestly, I have no idea. I have no clue, guys. It sucks. I mean, it sucks. I mean, every Saturday, honestly, Marcel, like, I still love the sport, but it's like the interest is not as much when I don't have the opportunity to wager on it or think about the odds. That's the truth, Here's a good question. What's up, Marcus? You think we're fighting us? We just found the Paul Costa fight's not happening, Marcel. So, any idea? Yeah, I mean, I guess Cannonier rematch. I mean, I guess I don't know.
Maybe Drakus.
Drakus makes sense too. I mean, he's a big name right now. He's got a lot of momentum. What's up, John? Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, Joe, you guys are good. You guys are a clinch. By the way, that game yesterday, Marcel, I mean, I talked about it with you. Like, I'm not a soccer guy, but I did watch the game. I've watched a lot of the World Cup. Crazy game, eh? Just insane, huh?
Dude, that game sucked until 2-1.
80th minute?
Yeah, and then it went 2-2, and then it went 3-2, 3-3, And
yep.
I'm not going to lie, I wanted France to win. But,
yeah,
okay.
I picked Argentina. I got it
right. Yeah. Good, well done.
Yep.
Did the penalty kicks better, and but dude, what would have happened if the striker Kolomuani scored that goal in the dying seconds? Remember when they got 1-1 with the goalkeeper? He barely kept it out with his feet or with his leg.
Yeah,
you remember right before the end?
yeah. That was wild, man. Crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean,
there's a lot of good sports this weekend, man. The UFC was pretty good, but there was like that crazy comeback in the NFL. I don't know if you heard, like the Vikings were down 33-0 and won. It was like the biggest comeback of all time in football. That's crazy. Of all time. That's insane, man.
You know what also was insane? Scoring a hat trick in the World Cup final.
That's crazy
and
too,
not winning.
What are the odds of that? I mean, the odds on that, I think it's like plus 20,000 for someone to score a hat trick or something in soccer. I mean, it's so hard for that to happen, especially like you said in the last game of the year. So that's really wild to me, man. All right, let's get into UFC, guys, because that's obviously why you guys are here. So let's start with UFC Vegas 66 recap, Mark. So we'll go through the card. It was an okay card, Marcel. I mean, I don't think it was the best card of the year to finish the year, but it was decent. It's unfortunate. I think the last card, the pay-per-view, was really good. Of course, the main event was the co-main event with the controversial scorecards aside. I mean, it was a really good card. This card was just okay, in my opinion, Marcel. I don't know what you thought. What did you think, like, in your opinion?
I think it's a perfect ending of the year. We're going out with a controversial split decision in 2022.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like typical, But
yeah.
now, I think the card really it didn't really do something for me in the prelims. There were a few good fights, but nothing spectacular. Yeah, maybe two things. And the main card was okay. I think the main event, it almost put me to sleep. I think it wasn't a bad fight, but it was just like, it was like a good sparring match. I would have said, between two guys. Strickland, who always fights the way he fights, behind the jab, trying to hit your opponent well, and with Cannonier with some good leg kicks, and not really pulling the trigger, but also a little bit more hesitant, So wasn't a great fight to end the year with, I think. But what can you do, right? I mean, we could have had he could have ended the year with Blachowicz Ankalaev a draw. That would have sucked as well, So
Yeah,
sometimes you have good endings, sometimes you have bad ones, and this one was like mediocre, I think.
fair enough. All right, let's just talk about the fight. I mean, like I actually kind of agree with you. It looked like a sparring match to me too. It's just like no one really like went to like hurt each other like that bad, Like no one really went for a finish. I understand these guys are both, pretty defensively sound. I get it, and it's not like they didn't try. I mean, they both landed over 100, and Cannonier landed 141 significant strikes, Strickland 152. I mean, they were definitely throwing, but like I don't feel like they were throwing with bad intentions, Marcel. If that makes sense, like there was a few big shots on both ends, but I guess from Cannonier more so. It's probably why he won the fight. They had some more power shots, but I don't know. It wasn't as good of a fight as I thought it'd be. Honestly, that's I'm a big fan of both guys. I really like Strickland, but I don't know. As far as like the scorecards go, honestly, Marcel, I think it's one of those fights where both guys could have did so much more, and if they lost, then they have no one but themselves to blame, in my opinion. Honestly, I wasn't sure at all who would win at the end of the 5 rounds. I guess I leaned Strickland ever so slightly, and the stats show that he barely edged him in strikes, so I guess I wasn't wrong about it, but it's not like I was confident, Marcel. You know what I mean? It was a very close fight. It could have went either way. I have no problem with the scorecards, really. I know it was weird, right? You got 4-1, 49-46 on each side, but these rounds were so close. Like, the judges couldn't even decide on the rounds. And I think, like, people on Twitter couldn't really either, Marcel. This is not like the Paddy Pimblett fight where, like, it's so obvious that he lost. This is, like, a fight that really could have gone either way. I don't have a problem with the scorecard. I guess if I had to pick someone, it would have been Strickland, but, I mean, I don't have an issue with Cannonier winning. Who did you score for?
I gotta tell you, to be really honest, man, I didn't, because it was that close, and I was like, whatever.
It was like that kind of fight. At the end of the 5 rounds, I was like, man, I really have no idea. Like, I don't remember last time I really said that. I mean, there's been some close fights, but I usually can decide a winner, like of the rounds. Maybe this is the kind of fight where like 10-10 round could be used. Marcel, what do you think? Like, potentially, like they never use them, but I'm just saying, like, there really wasn't much separating these guys in the rounds, in my opinion. What do you think?
I don't know, man. It was just like, could be, you could do that, but it was just a fight. Like, it's number 3 against number 7, and if Strickland won, he would have probably went to number 3, and Cannonier would have went to number 4, and now with Cannonier winning, he stays at 3 and Strickland stays at 7. It's like, and there is nothing for these guys to do at this moment, at middleweight. Almost everybody is booked. Adesanya is probably fighting Pereira in the rematch, and now, you have Whitaker open, but Whitaker and Cannonier fought recently. I think he over more than a year ago in Abu Dhabi, I think that was. So, I mean, I think middleweight. I'm not really interested in the middleweight division at this moment, man. At some fighters, because it's really a lot of the same. And I know with Pereira on top, many more people have probably a chance to win, and that's because his stand-up game is very good, but his ground game is still has been tested against a legit ground guy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but the division doesn't appeal to me, to be really honest. And this is a typical example for that division, this kind of fight. We saw it with Cannonier Adesanya, where Adesanya was just better than Cannonier and could, like, how do you say that? Could avoid a fight, And with this was like Cannonier wants to come close, but Strickland keeps his distance, and Cannonier was still hesitant, So it's also kind of a stalemate the whole damn time. You know what I mean? So I don't feel this division. There are some fight styles are fun to watch, but some of them in this division, you shouldn't match them up with each other. And wasn't a great fight, but also not a really bad one. Like I said, mediocre.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that too. Let's get some comments here. John, I thought Strickland won. Thought he outstruck Cannonier control most of the fight. But didn't think Cannonier's flashes strikes were enough to sit rounds. I guess I'd edge him slightly too, but I mean, it was really close. What's up, Joe? Dober by knock. Oh, we're talking about that. We'll talk about this fights after. Had a 3-2 Cannonier. No problem with 49-46 strong. I mean, that's kind of how I feel. Like, I didn't really have a problem. Like, I guess I don't know. I feel like it was 48-47 either way. I guess, but like at the same time, 4-1. You know, the rounds were close. 5-0 though. I saw some people have a 5-0 Cannonier. I don't know about that. That's kind of crazy in my opinion. You have to give Strickland a round or 2 or 3 in my opinion. What do you say?
The thing with Strickland is, man, his pre-fight presses are probably more enjoyable than his fights as of lately. You know, at least I think it's funny when he calls out people, and he called out a guy, Alex Biunin, but Alex is cool with him. I think Alex has been.
Wait, who called out Alex Strickland?
Yeah.
No, at the presser. I mean, he was joking around. I think it was hilarious.
Exactly. People were like, funny, yeah, exactly. You know, those two know each other. You know, Alex visits Extreme Couture. I think he lives in Las Vegas. So
yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, me too.
Personally, but, me too. Anyways, Marcus asked me yesterday on in a DM. He just wanted to know who we think these guys should fight next. So I wanted to answer that question for him. And someone in the chat actually kind of brought up a good fight. Strickland would probably be stepping for Rob if you want. I agree with that too. You can't. I mean, I guess you could do a rematch between Cannonier and Strickland, or between Cannonier and Whitaker. But pardon?
It's not appealing at all.
No, I know, not yet. Maybe in like a year or something. The first fight was close though. I mean, Cannonier broke his arm and came back and almost won in the 3rd round. Like it was a good fight. It would actually be a better fight in 5 rounds. But I'm kind of with you. I feel like that would be a step down for Whitaker. I mean, they're kind of in a weird spot, man, especially Cannonier, because really, I mean, he kind of is like right behind Whitaker right now for a title shot. He's going to have to fight again. Looking at the rankings,
yes, no option.
No, does Brunson have a fight booked or no?
No, but he also recently.
Oh, he already beat him this year. What am I talking about? Yeah, I mean, freak.
There is literally no option. Pretty much fighting down.
Would have to be Duplessis or Muniz or the winner of Imavov.
Muniz is fighting Brandon Allen, so he's also out. Delic is fighting Vittori.
Right. It would have to be Duplessis. I think Duplessis might get a big fight, Marcel.
Yeah, or the winner of Imavov Gastelum. But if Gastelum wins, then you can still.
Fought him, yeah. And with Strickland, like he's, you know what? They might have to put him against like a guy at maybe a little bit lower down.
Darren Till.
I was thinking that too. I think that'd be a good fight. It'd be a lot of trash talk. They'd be talking a lot of shit to each other. I think it'd be a good fight. It'd be fun. Yeah, it'd be funny. Like they'd lead up. It makes sense. He's like a main event too, even though Till's got a bad record lately. That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Put that as a main card opener in London.
Yeah, you could do that. That would actually be fun. I mean, I think Strickland would have a lot of fun over there in London. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's a pay-per-view.
If he has his passport. I think he said he lost his passport, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, true.
Or was it Chris Curtis's? Like,
Chris
I think
Curtis
Sean ripped his passport up or something. Yeah. So was the fight not happening because Costa said Rob's? I think it's Costa's side, right? He doesn't have a contract or something, or Strickland versus Dricus would be good too, Marcus. But I feel like it would be Jared versus Dricus. That's what I think. I think Strickland's he's lost 2 straight fights. He's gonna have to fight someone off a loss, I think, at this point. Anyways, anything else on that fight? You want to move on?
Move on.
Co-main event. Honestly, Marcel, it's a high-level fight, but it wasn't the most exciting fight. But Arman looked good again, and he's amazing, I think. He's again, that Gamrot fight, I really think, he could have easily won that fight on the scorecards, his only real loss is to Islam. It's his only like legit loss. The guy's in the UFC anyways. He's so good. And Damir is really good, and he pretty much dominated Marcel. He had almost 10 minutes of control time. All the takedowns in the world, and Damir couldn't do anything on the feet. So it was a really good performance by Arman. Not the most exciting fight, but I mean, beating a guy like Damir, it's going to be hard to do, and he did what he needed to do. So any quick thoughts on this one?
I think Sodiq Yusuf had the best tweet of the night about that fight. I think he said like, these guys are number 8 and number 12 in the world. Don't look like it, and he meant they are higher, And I agree with that, I mean, these guys, I think, listen, man, everybody was like, Arman hasn't finished Damir. Damir is on a 19-fight win streak. Dude is fucking solid, He doesn't lose normally, And Arman, I won't say make it look easy, but he took easily a decision. Let's put it that way. He didn't make it look easy, but he easily took the decision. I think that speaks a lot for Arman. I think he's a really good fighter, and I think Damir is as well. And the thing is that really bothers me at lightweight, and I told you before, the top 5 is really hesitant to take fights under the top 5. You know what I mean? You got the Dustin Poirier. He beat Michael Chandler, so I'm cool with him getting a step up again, But Gaethje, he lost. Fight somebody under you. Fight VZF, for example. Chandler has to fight Tsarukyan now, in my opinion, Gamrot got his chance against Dariush. Dariush won. That's okay. Dariush should get somebody higher up. But that's the thing at lightweight, and the UFC sucks as well, with promoting these guys, They're only promoting the guys who are mouthy and who are flashy themselves, But these high-level guys, you got Arman, you got Rafael Fiziev, Damir Ismagulov, Guram Kutateladze, Mateusz Gamrot, that whole lightweight as Shark Tank, you got super talented guys in the division, but you fail to match them up with the better guys or the higher ranked guys right now in the division. Why? You can make big stars. Arman is how old is he? 25.
Yeah.
Dude is fucking young. You can make a big star out of him. Why you don't back him like you back Paddy, for example? You know what I mean? So that's something that really bothers me. And we'll see. I think he needs to step up in competition. Like you said, his only legit loss in the UFC was against Makachev in a fight that he gave him good competition in my opinion, for a short notice fight, And the Gamrot fight, he lost that one, but it was controversial, could have gone his way as well. I scored it for him, but I had no problem with Gamrot getting it. But I think that's how I look at the division, man. I think you got young blood, you got a lot of talents over there, and you got to give them a chance, And for example, that's why I applaud RDA. He fought Fiziev when Fiziev was lower in the rankings, but he fought him. He don't give shit, RDA. And he lost. Fair play to him. 5th round knockout, and Fiziev is now somewhere top 6 because he fought RDA, who was at that moment number 5 or 6, and he don't give a shit. He just fights. But all these other guys feeling so safe, they only take like, I'm number 2, okay, I'm fighting number 3. I'm number 4, I want to fight number 3. I'm number 3, I want to fight number 2 or number 4. You know what I mean? So they keep being in that same position, and that should stop, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. Let's see if there's any comments about it. Not about that fight, but Glenn has a funny comment. He thinks that Strickland Till would be the lowest IQ fight possible at 185. No thanks. I think it'd be funny, man. Just because you're right, like they wouldn't be using their full IQ. Go to the next fight here, Marcel.
Okay, we take the MMA Joey. I agree with him.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the comment. Hey Joey, what's up, man? Hey guys, showing some support. Appreciate it, man. How crazy is it? Arman is almost 2 years younger than Paddy. It is crazy, and he's fighting the best guys in the world. That's why I'm so tired of people saying like protect Paddy, like because I remember a few months ago I was like give him Dan Hooker, and your boy Sean Sheehan when Act responded, Marcel, your boy, he was like Sean Sheehan, the judging guy.
Know him. No, I can't know.
You don't know. The judging, you know exactly what I'm talking
about. The authority of judging.
Yeah. He was like, why would you do that fight? Like, that's way too big of a step up. I'm thinking to myself, like, Hooker's like the 15th ranked guy at that point he was. This was before his last performance against Puelles. And Puelles, I think, is also younger than Paddy with less experience. Paddy's got, 30 fights?
And he's a former Cage Warriors champion.
He's not even good, man. He's not even that good, Marcel.
He's also a former Cage Warriors champion. He fought some solid guys already. Why are we acting like?
Sorry, he's got 23. I shouldn't say 30.
Why are we acting like he's some young kid who just came up in the scene in the UFC? I mean,
bro, he's been fighting for 10 years. His debut in October 2012, guys. Like,
exactly.
If you can't fight at the number 15th ranked guy, what are we even doing here? You know what I mean?
It's kind of typical a British or Irish guy reply to you about that because they're really protective of him, But listen, I tell you right now, Paddy loses to every top 20 fighter in the UFC right now,
I agree.
He only has a puncher's chance against Tony Ferguson, I think, at this moment because Tony is declining. But even that, I doubt,
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I think that's fair. Dober, Dober's been calling him for a while. They won't match that fight up. There's like no chance. And then Dober called Jalen Turner, which is a great fight. And Jalen Turner, I'm pretty sure he's younger too. Let me check out how old is Jalen. He is 27. He's born in May. Paddy's born in January. So Jalen Turner is also younger, Marcel. This is crazy, man. Paddy will probably get Guida or Tony. I think Guida is a fight a lot of people have talked about. It does make sense. It'd be a hard fight. I think Guida is not an easy fight.
You saw what Bobby Green said about him against my colleague.
What did he say? I saw Dennis interviewed him. What did he say to him?
Yeah, so Dennis was like, many people are talking about you maybe fighting Paddy in your next fight. What do you think about that? He's like, he's like, they would never make that fight. He said the
Yeah.
UFC would never make that fight. It's way of a high of a risk for them, and he says it's actually I'm actually embarrassed and upset when they do it. You know, he said he doesn't belong with me in the cage. He says, and if I don't stop him in the first round, that would be a loss on my record. So he's an amateur. He literally told him, said he's an amateur.
Yeah. That's funny. Paddy is Charles Oliveira. Charles is bad in NBA. Yeah, I mean, those guys are near the same wavelength. Who's the best guy Paddy could beat? I have a hard time seeing him beat anyone outside the bottom of the barrel. I mean, he does have a win. Listen, he does have 4 wins in the UFC. Obviously, the last one was really bad decision, but the other 3 were by finish, right? So it's not like he can't beat guys. What would like if he fought like Michael Johnson? Like if he did that fight, is that a fight that kind of makes sense, or is that a fight he wouldn't win? Like maybe he could win that fight. I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you are not. You are really in the. How do you say that? The guys like Michael Johnson, maybe a Mark Diakese,
Rick Glenn,
Clay Guida, Vince Pichel.
Yeah,
and that's maybe already too much.
I feel like a Matt Frevola beats him at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure Matt beats him. I think like, yeah, you have to be like a veteran like Joe Lozon, something like that.
Isn't it bad that the UFC puts this guy out as to be a huge prospect, you know, and it's bad that we are trying to matchmake him against guys we maybe think he has a chance against, you know?
Yeah, I'm just looking. I mean, like they could definitely find someone or so. Like it could be like Slava Borshev, something like that. Mike Breed. I'm just like these are bottom of the barrel guys, but I mean they're guys he would beat. Because I think like I'll be honest, like even a guy like Rafa Garcia, I think probably beats Paddy at this point.
Bro, if they beat him up, if they match him up with Mike Davis, imagine
Mike Davis wins that fight. It probably hurts him really bad in that fight. You said Jay Malarkey's out or he needs an opponent. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Could they do that fight, or is that a fight he wouldn't win either?
I don't think Paddy wants to go to Perth. So
yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
Definitely not with London in March on the calendar, you know.
For sure. I mean, honestly, man, like I just don't think there's a lot of guys in the top 20, 25 he could beat. But I mean, we've talked about him a lot lately. This guy. By the way, this guy said something about your sweater. I agree. I said it when we started the podcast. I was telling you off air. Some of the bad guys like Madsen. I think Madsen just out wrestles him. Honestly, he beat Vince Pichel. He's not that bad, but I know what you're saying. Trevor was Starchin, Puelles. I guess Puelles actually, Marcel, because even though I like this guy, he's got great knee bars and stuff. He looked like absolute shit in his last fight. Like he looked like he was completely lost. I guess they could do that fight, maybe.
He kind of looked like Cindy Dandois, you know. But then, you know what I mean.
What fight they're gonna do, Marcel? I'm just looking at the rankings, or not the rankings, just the list of the fighters. Like someone like a Chris Gritzmock or someone like that, like an old dude that is on a losing skid. You know, someone like Damir Hadzovic, someone like that, Marcel. Like because like honestly, if you felt like even Vince Pichel's 40 years old, I think Vince beats him. I really do. I think you pick him too, right?
Probably yes. The funny thing is, in 4 fights in the UFC, I haven't picked against Paddy yet. You know.
I know what you're saying. I know, right? Like,
so we're not haters. We're just
we're just being realistic. I mean, the guy looked terrible in his last fight. He looked. The thing was, his striking looked so rudimentary to me. Like it just didn't look like he didn't look like a pro on the feet. Like I'll just say that. You know, his grappling's pretty good. I'll give him that, but the striking's not good. Though Paddy even makes one after his extra stinners. I mean, the guy blows up between fights. I don't think that's going to help him like going forward in his career either. You know. Oh, Alex Hernandez actually would be that one does make sense. Actually, that fight. A former top 15 guy Marcel thinks is really overrated and was never. What would you say? He's a fraud, right, Marcel?
No. Don't say that. I said everybody was like, "Oh, he knocks out Dariush. It comes back every time," and I said, "I think it's a fluke." You know, I think no disrespect. I think it's a fluke. You know, I think if they match him up 10 times, I think Dariush wins 8 for sure. You know, that's whatever. But no disrespect to Alex.
We got David in the chat. He says dislikes Whaley. I think he's the only one. Probably David. I mean, she's pretty likable. She's a good fighter. But no, you're not the only one who doesn't like her, David. Come on. There's other people that don't.
The only thing that I really didn't like about Whaley is when she got that loss against Rose by head kick.
Right.
And she was complaining like crazy, like it was an early stoppage and that she deserves a rematch. I was like, come on.
Like, no,
you know, and there was nobody in your there's nobody in your coaching staff who was like, shut up. You know, and then but after that, I didn't have any problems anymore with her. You know, she seems like nice, but I don't know.
No, I agree with that. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Amir Albazi, he looked amazing against Alexander Costa. He's ready for like a top 5 guy. He really is. I mean, I know Costa obviously, he's new to the UFC. He's not that good, but like this was like dominant. And the fact he knocked him out in the 3rd round is so impressive to me, Marcel. Like this guy is just next level. Looking at the rankings, he was ranked 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 is Matt Schnell. That's the next guy up above him. It's a fight that I think they could do, or Brandon Royval, they could do that fight again. I think Pantoja would be a really, really good fight. Is Pantoja is he a backup fighter for the main event, or sorry, the title fight? Or
I think he should be, but I don't know if he is. But it's in Brazil, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Unless they're going to give him a fight, but I guess he'd probably be the backup. I think he just might be the backup, especially because, let's be honest, Figueiredo's weight is an issue, right? So. Yeah, it is. I mean, and then Pantoja could be the backup for that fight. Because I think Pantoja deserves a title shot too, So yeah, someone like that. Matthias Nicolau, you could do that fight as well. He's coming off a win over Matt Schnell. They could do that fight. So yeah, I think Albazi's really good. I think you'd agree with me on that one, Marcel. He's great.
Yeah, he's solid, man. And I think his ground game is even better than his stand-up, actually, but the stand-up's looking good as well. I think he praised Dewey Cooper from BK MMA, where he trains alongside with Extreme Couture, that the striking went up. And I think he showed, let's be honest, Costa is a good fighter, but in my opinion, if you're number 8 ranked in the world, and you fight somebody on the debut, you should probably finish him, in my opinion. And he did, he did in the 3rd round. And that's what he should have done. For example, it's like Sodiq Yusuff against Don Shainis, remember? Sodiq smashed him within 35 seconds. But I think Costa is a little bit more tough, and we saw in the Contender Series that he won a split decision against that Marcinetti guy, I think. And it was the first episode. Dana wasn't a big fan of that fight, but they still signed him. He's solid. He got a win in
Lux Fight League, I think.
Yeah, he knocked the guy out within 8 seconds or something. So yeah, good for him, and he's now in the UFC. Listen, man, this was like what do you say? This a low risk for Costa to come in the UFC. You get signed, and you get the fight against top 10 guy. If you win, you're on the rankings. This was actually for Albazi was a high risk, low reward fight. And he got it done. So good for him. And he finished it. Yeah, solid.
No, I agree with that. Any comments here? Joey's asking about Paddy. How long do you think the Paddy Hinchcliffe complete ends? I don't think they're giving up him because obviously he's a big name over there in England. It just depends what happens in the next fight. I think his next fight's going to be really key for his career. He's going to need to win it, and he's going to need to win it like decisively, not just the judges giving him a bogus call. I think the UFC's going to shelf Costa. Maybe seems like there's an issue with the contract because he's got one. I think he has one fight left, and he might be waiting it out or something. I don't know. Bazi a great finish, but I think fighting a guy making his debut is a little underwhelming. I know what you're saying, but like this guy is not that, and he's never been finished before this. He brutally knocked him out. Like it's a good finish. Speaking of brutal knockouts, Marcel, Alex Caceres, man, wow. I mean,
did not see that coming.
Pardon?
Did not see that coming, and Erosa also not.
Bro, I mean, like I'm not very good at picking his fights. I'll be honest. Like I'm not good at picking his fights. Like early in his career, I would just fade him because his submission defense was bad, and like he would lose a lot of fights. But like honestly, now that I look through his record, I think I've been pretty bad at picking his fights. He's one of those guys I just can't predict his fights very well. There's some fighters you're really good at predicting their fights, but this guy, bro, I just always underestimate him. I mean, he's been in the UFC for almost 12 years now.
Yeah, crazy, man.
He's the same age as me. He's 34. You'd think he would be getting a little bit worse, but he's actually getting better, which is crazy. I think he's really good, Marcel. And like at this point, like I'm gonna have to really stop fading him in his fights because man, he keeps beating me. So good for him, man. I mean, I know Rosa's chin is not good at all, and he's been knocked out a bunch of times in the UFC. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is his 5th knockout loss in the UFC, so his chin is not good. But he's looked so good lately in his last couple of fights that I thought it was I kind of thought he put that chin issue behind him a little bit, but clearly he hasn't. What a win for Bruce Leroy.
I can still remember when I saw his. I think before he went to the Ultimate Fighter, there was a clip of his on YouTube, and somebody was introducing him. It's like, "This is Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres. He's young, dumb, and full of cum."
He used to fight. Didn't he fight in the backyard? Miami and stuff. Yeah. He was part of that. So yeah. Dude, I remember when he was on the GSP season, GSP and Koscheck. He was on that season. That's so long ago, Marcel. he's been around forever, man. He's still doing well, and he gets a
Yeah,
bonus here, well deserved. I mean, the kick was nasty. Guys
it
look
was a
good, man.
super nice done by Alex. You know, I didn't expect it, to be honest, and definitely I was like, if Alex wins, probably is his decision, but he knocked him out. Beautiful knockout. I immediately said on Twitter, 50K for sure.
Yeah,
And he deserved that, man. You know,
yeah.
Was a spectacular knockout, and yeah, good for him, man. I think he was ranked 2 weeks ago, number 15. Then he got out of the rankings, and maybe he's back in tomorrow. You know, we'll
He
see.
should be. I think. I
Yeah.
really, his only loss lately is to Yusuf, who's really good, obviously, and
Mhm.
guy's good, man. I mean, he's good. I still think like grapplers will give it like really good grapplers, like a Kron Gracie, will give him issues, but. This is the guy that lost to like Wang Guan. Remember that guy from like Ultimate Fighter
Oh, for
China?
sure. They only had one fight.
Yeah, and he lost to him. I'm just saying, like he's a guy that I really didn't think would stick around the UFC as long as he has. He has some bad losses on his resume, but man, I mean, credit to this guy. He's won 6 of his last 7 fights, so
Yeah,
he's been
very
good.
nice.
Hedges Caceres plus 300 or by decision. Oh man, I know, right? He gets the knockout in this fight. I really understand why Davis get bonus for every finish. I completely agree, David. I mean, we talk about this a lot, especially on this card, the last card of the year. There was only 2 other finishes. They could have easily given out 50K more to Albazi and to Nurmagomedov. We'll talk about that for in a sec. Caceres could step up like Mitchell, fade him again. If he fights Barboza, he could win again. Yeah, I probably agree with that. I think Mitchell beats him, honestly, because of the style matchup. Usually we're coming for the strap 2023. Probably not, but like he's definitely established on his top 15 guy, I think, right? Next fight of the night, Marcel. Great. I think didn't I say it was fight of the night last week? I called it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know what, man? The fight was going how I thought, Marcel. Like, was it not? Like, I was like, man, he's gonna box him up, the head movement, like the footwork. I'm like, man, because this card was not my best card. Obviously, finished the year, it was kind of a rough one, especially the main card. But I thought it was looking good, Marcel. I was gonna message you, but again, now I know better than to wait till the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Right? Till I say anything. But Bobby was looking good. He was looking
Yeah.
great. Obviously, the first round he won. He landed 39 to 17 strikes. Dober looked lost, and then again, drops his hands. Dober connects, huge shot against the fence. Dober's power is insane. Dober's last 7 wins are by knockout. I mean, the guy has just got, or his last 6 wins, I should say, insane power, like just absolutely insane. They're not doing Drew Dober and Paddy Pimblett. Dober's so underrated, in my opinion, Marcel. Like, how is he not ranked in the top 15? Like, how the hell is he not ranked? Grant Dawson won his last fight, and he didn't even make weight. I like Grant. He's a really good fighter. How is Dober not in the rankings but Dawson is? How is Ferguson in the rankings when he fought at 170? And Dos Anjos also should be out because his last fight was at 170. You have to bring these guys in. These guys deserve to be in here. Dober should be in there. And quite frankly, I think Bobby Green's not that far behind him. I know he got knocked out, he lost, whatever, but like he's still a good fighter in my opinion. But yeah, big one fight of the night. Great fight. And Dober, man, I mean, I gotta stop doubting this guy because the knockout power is just insane, but wow. I mean, what a performance. Any thoughts?
Yeah, man, it's an amazing fight. You got Bobby Green, who was talking a lot of crap, and the case is like when Dober punches, like almost. It's, I really enjoy that. I think Bobby Green is a character. He's a really fun guy to watch, and the striking is beautiful, man. His jab is beautiful. It's always on point. He's super sharp, and he got Dober to play his game, in the first round, and very well, and also in the second round, until Dober hits him good, and then he knocked him out, and I think Green didn't even know what's happening. He was like, what the hell, and but really nice sportsmanship afterwards, and good win for Dober, man. I mean, I agree with you, I think the thing is, I think he got out of the rankings after losing to Islam and to Riddell, I think Riddell took a spot back then, but I think he deserves to be back there, but he takes lots of damage, dude. I mean, the Terrence McKinney, he took so much damage, he came back, and now he took a lot of damage again, and he came back. So how long will his chin hold up? I don't know. He looked like he got a kind of an iron chin, but at a certain moment, it's going to be bad, probably.
He has an iron chin. He's only been dropped once in the UFC by McKinney. And McKinney's super explosive, obviously, and powerful. That's the only guy. And he has 20 fights in the UFC. Another guy, Marcel, honestly, he started his career with a couple losses in the UFC, and he kind of was like, I gotta be honest, guys, he wasn't very good. He was he had that loss like Escudero, like that weird loss to Silva that was overturned. He just wasn't good. He wasn't good, Marcel, and he's really turned his career around. I love watching him fight now, man.
Remember when he fought Dariush? He also almost had Dariush in the first round, but Dariush took him with submission. and that pushed Darius at a certain moment. But that I think that was his only loss within 8 or 9 fights at that moment, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's so
really
great.
good.
And by the way, how the hell did he not get a bonus for that McKinney fight? How was that not fight of the night? I mean, that fight was
Yeah,
unreal.
crazy.
How did they not get a bonus for that fight? That's weird. I'm glad he got one for this one though.
What was the other fight on that card back then?
I'm just
Which
looking right now. They
bonus?
gave 4 performance bonuses, including one to Brundage, who we'll talk about in a sec, for that fight with Dalcha, where he was like losing and then came back. Like, and same with Mirzakhanov, where he was getting lit up by Chukwi and came back. I don't know. I just feel like that fight should have won fight of the night. Looking back at it now, I'm kind of surprised. Anyways, hey, look, what's up, man? He says Arman would destroy Poirier. I think Arman wins that fight. I really do. Dober and Guram that'd be a good fight. It would be good. Dober's Walmart Poirier. I mean, he's tied him for knockouts, I think, now. What are you going to say?
What would you favor in the Moises against Paddy fight?
Moises and Paddy? Moises.
Me too. But that's another one they maybe can slip in if he loses to Guram or even wins to Guram, They will never make Paddy Guram.
Hype says, how's it going? I'm okay, man. Taking it day by day. It's just been a tough month for me. And I appreciate asking, though. Andy Volkov was supposed to fight before getting appendicitis. I'm not sure. Did you hear? I would like to see him fight Derek Lewis again. I think that rematch is one that we need to see before it's all said and done. I mean, that first fight obviously was losing, and then he comes back and knocks him out, Lewis. So, and we heard that junk company called 1-800 We Want Your Junk. I think I have actually, but I don't know why you're asking. why are you asking, man? I don't have that much junk around here, but I have heard of it. Yeah. Speaking of junk, no, I'm kidding. But man, what the hell happened to Brundage, man? We picked him, and Marcel, was it not looking good? It was looking good.
He started very well with that immediate going to the ground and had his back, But I think he made a mistake somehow, and Oleksiejczuk could reverse it pretty much and got top control, and he punched him out at that moment, So yeah, it was kind of I was like, when he went for a takedown, he cut it to the ground. It's like, yeah, this is a perfect game plan, That's what he should do. And then he got reversed and he got stopped. So good win for Oleksiejczuk. What can you say? And kind of, that was our consensus dog pick, Brundage, and we were off. I think we started well, but we were off.
We lost it. He got knocked out. We're not even gonna pretend it, but I mean, it did start off like the fight kind of played out how I thought. And, Oleksiejczuk, excuse me, I keep saying his name wrong. God. But yeah, a stupid hockey player. 43% takedown defense, and that's like over 10 fights. His takedown defense sucks. He's going to lose to a really good grappler, but a guy like Brundage, that, let's be honest, his durability is an issue. He's been knocked out a couple times. This was kind of like the William Knight fight, wasn't it? Like, remember on Contender?
Yeah, he started also very well at that fight.
And then he got reversed and then finished with mount and ground and pound. Same exact fight. And this was pretty bad because, man, I mean, he had a hard time getting up off the canvas after, so it was a really bad knockout in my opinion. Oleksiejczuk's good,
just like Arosa.
Pardon? Arosa? Yeah,
like
that was crazy. Everybody asks us on Beerboy is owned from Vancouver, Canada. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't used it before. Next fight, I actually didn't catch this fight. I was eating dinner, and I didn't have a chance to watch this one when it happened. But apparently, I didn't miss much. McKenna and Vlismas. I think you picked McKenna. Good pick, Marcel.
I gotta say something about this fight.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are like a lot of horny motherfuckers, I guess, for Cheyenne Vlismas on Twitter, because people were really going hard on McKenna for a game plan. I was like, guys, what did you expect? Vlismas has to keep this fight standing to win, what she did in the first round, pretty much. And McKenna has to get this fight to the ground to win, and that's what she did in the second and third round. So it was a clear 29-28, and people were really hating on McKenna. It wasn't a beautiful performance, but she did what she had to do. But some people are really horny for Cheyenne Vlismas for some reason, and they're like, oh, why she didn't stand with Cheyenne. She didn't have a chance. Yeah, obviously she's not going to stand with Cheyenne because Cheyenne would have probably dropped her or whatever, because McKenna isn't great stand-up, her specialty is on the ground. And I think it's a good win for her, This is like, no disrespect to both girls, but it's a little bit like a low-tier kind of matchup between two women, in the division. Both girls are not close to the top 15 or anywhere, and it's like a style make fights, more of a grappler against more of a striker, and the grappler won 2 rounds against 1, so she won, but wasn't a great fight at all. But yeah,
I actually didn't get a chance to watch this one, but I was looking on Twitter where people were saying it. It was kind of like you said, grappling heavy, and I'm not surprised now looking back because remember that fight with what's that girl's name, Montserrat Ruiz or something?
Yeah.
You know her name? Nero or something? Yeah. looking back now, I mean, I don't know why. Like, Alyssa's looked good. That's why I picked her here. But like looking back now, I should have been a little bit more hesitant because of that fight where she just got held down. That headlock was like, "Yo, bitch, I'll find you" or something. Remember, like after the fight,
Yeah.
I'll follow you home or something. That was what she said. Who's next for Damir and Arman? Good question. I mean, honestly, like Arman is right there.
I should fight Chandler, man.
That would be a sick fight, man. Yeah, I think that'd be good. You know, Fiziev's up there too, Dariush, any of those guys. And then Damir, I don't know, Damir, maybe Macanio, something like that. Dawson, could
Turner.
be something like that. Yeah, Turner, something like that. Well, Turner or Dober call out Turner. We didn't talk about that. Dober call out Jalen Turner. I love that fight. I think it'd be a good fight. It's a fun fight.
I agree.
You guys know why McKay left Barry? I'm not sure, but I saw. Yeah, you're talking about like Tim Simpson's manager.
It's the same thing that we know.
We know the exact as you. I don't know much more than that. Go to the next fight here, Marcel Matthews. Here's another surprise, man. Semmelsberger just destroys Jake Matthews. Like three knockdowns just destroyed him. I'm surprised. I gotta be honest.
Me too.
Yeah, because like I know Semmelsberger's good, and I picked him up a lot in this podcast, man. But like after Matthews' last fight, and I know Fialho's chin is not good, but like he looked amazing, and like I thought for sure this is a fight he could win, and he just gets destroyed.
It's like we had Jake Matthews from the fight before against Fialho again, you know?
Yeah.
Like the okay Matthews, but not the much improved one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And for Matthews Semmelsberger, he looked good, man. I gotta say, I think Matthews landed a lot as well, you know, but still Semmelsberger had the most significant action in the fight, you know? He had 3 knockdowns. And it's very hard to win a round when you get knocked down in every round, you know what I mean? So good win for Semmelsberger, man. I think it's his best win of his career, in my opinion.
I mean, I agree, and like you said, he was knocked out all 3 rounds. Like, when was the last time that happened? I'd actually really like to know if someone could think of another like instance where someone, like, if you go to UFC stats and look at the knockdown category, I can't think of like that when that's happened. That's I usually see like 2 knockdowns in a round, and maybe another round guy got dropped. Maybe
JP Bass against Montel Jackson.
I think he got dropped 4 times in the first round. Let me double check because that's actually not a bad.
I know Piotr Jan knocked down Rivera twice. Jimmy,
yeah, but not 3 times, right? Let me check.
No.
So Jackson obviously knocked down him. Okay, so he had 2 knockdowns in 2 different rounds, but not in all 3. And then it's hard to do that in 3 consecutive rounds. That's basically what I was trying to say.
Mostly when that happens, you'll get finished. You know what I mean?
100%. I'm surprised he was able to. And he actually, I think he won the 3rd round, right?
Yeah.
Crazy because he got dropped and then came back a little bit. Speaking of coming back, I mean, geez, man, Sayoka Kakamara had this fight in the bag, and just, you know, what is he doing leaving his neck out like that? You're leaving it out constantly against a guy like Said Nurmagomedov, who has a guillotine choke that's nasty, who you've seen submit guys. I think he should have got a bonus kind of for the comeback, but, you know, they didn't give it to him. But, man, I mean, the guy had the fight in the bag, Marcel. Any thoughts?
Yes, I also called it a guillotine choke, but wasn't it some of a ninja choke? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too. They're calling it like you said, a guillotine, but it looked like a ninja choke, kind of like there was this guy, Jim Miller's brother Dan Miller had one once. He had a ninja choke.
Arnold Allen twice, I think.
Arnold Allen had against what's his name? Mads Burnell. Yeah,
and also against Omer, I think. Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, it was a great comeback. You know, I mean, Said started very well, I think, but he couldn't control Said Yacoub, and man, Said Yacoub, relentless man with the wrestling. He looked really good, you know, until, like you said, he leaves his neck out and he gets stopped. He was dominating that fight, you know, and you see, man, these guys from Dagestan, man, you can't give them a chance taking your neck, you know, and. I was already thinking, like, man, this is going to be a big win for Said Yacoub if he wins here. But, yeah, good win for Said, man. And I think definitely deserved the bonus, man. It was a great finish.
I agree. We're going to do a second podcast. We'll do a short one. We'll just do, like, fight announcements and news. So, just to answer your question, Loco. A couple more fights here, Marcel. We'll go through them quick. This fight, we were wrong about this one, too, because I think we both picked Boss Shot Day? I know I did. Yeah. Yeah, at first, I mean, the takedown defense was holding up for like the first half round. Then, you know, once he got in the ground, it was just controlled. But I mean, the story of this fight was obviously the cut that he caused and the blood. The amount of blood was just insane. Like, apparently, Rafa Garcia lost 20% of his blood. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Like, almost feel like the fight kind of should have been stopped when you think about it. Because, like, bro, that's like, isn't that like potentially like lethal? Like that losing that amount of blood.
First of all, I have to give credit to Rafa Garcia here because I always underestimated
Me
him,
too.
and he won with that cut, like halfway the fight, he won 3 rounds, in my
Yeah.
opinion. He
Yep.
looked really solid. And I think it didn't get stopped because it was on the side of the head and it didn't went into the eye. So the ref was
Yep.
like, or the doctor was like, let it go through. But yeah, there was an artery was ripped, so
Yep.
it kept bleeding. And man, one of the bloodiest fights of 2022, I think.
Easily.
But well done, man, by Garcia. Only annoying those screaming girls in the crowd for him. But yeah, I mean, solid performance. If you like leaking for 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and you're still able to win both those rounds, round 2 and round 3, that's great, man. And you see how tough to do this, and I gotta give him credit, man.
Who wins, Ralph Garcia or Paddy Pimblett? Who wins?
Yeah, I cannot say I give him credit. I'm now gonna say I don't know. Then I say Garcia.
Who wins, Paddy Pimblett or Mahashate? Who wins?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I think Paddy wins that because he can take him down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, this guy's takedown defense is an issue. Like I remember last week, I was like, "You're kind of guessing," and I was guessing that the takedown defense would hold up, and it didn't. I mean, but Garcia is a good wrestler, though. Looking back again, probably one that shouldn't have went that way. Shouldn't have picked that way, I should say. Rinat Fakhretdinov, though, I mean, this fight, I'm surprised. Remember, I was talking about the odds were so low on him. Like Brian Battle just got destroyed in this fight. This fight wasn't close. 30-25 scorecards, just a complete domination. Marcel, 14 minutes, 11 seconds of ground control time, a knockdown. The fight was a joke. Brian Battle, I know he had that crazy head kick, but like I do think he's in the wrong weight class. Like it just takes too much out of him to make this weight cut, man. I think he's gonna go back up to middleweight personally. But yeah, Rinat looked good, right, Marcel? He, I know he's like he just beat a guy that's unranked, but a former Ultimate Fighter winner or whatever. But I feel like he could get a top 15 opponent. I think he's really good. Any thoughts?
Rinat is a guy not many people want to fight because it's a high risk, low reward fight. You know what I mean? He's not ranked, and he might out wrestle you. It's a big chance he out wrestles you. So not many people will take that fight. Although there was some question marks about him before this fight. Remember when he fought Andreas Michailidis, he couldn't finish the fight. And many people were like, and didn't look that great in the third round. But now he just completely how do you say that not dominated Battle, and Battle ain't a bad fighter. I think Battle is pretty solid, but good win for Fakhretdinov, man. What can we say? Was also was short notice for Battle, got to say that as well, but still a good win for Rinat, I think.
Yeah, no, it was a good win. The guy looks solid. Shame you got to interview some power slap ad. The power slap thing, like honestly, at first I was like, man, but like I don't know, man. It looks hilarious too, Marcel. I'm not gonna lie. Like if these guys want to be dumbasses and go and get smashed, then they're welcome to do that.
You know what it is, Adam.
Hey man, glad you got the ticket. This guy told us he wants some money. That's good.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
The thing is, with power slap that bothers me is that it's nothing to do with MMA. It's nothing to do with sport, in my opinion. This is the like free CTE. You know what I mean?
It's definitely brain damage.
Yeah, so they're always the UFC is like, oh yeah, brain damage. We are taking care of that and this and that, and then you come with stupid power slap. That doesn't fit with me. You know what I mean? And it's not something I'm particularly interested in. If you want to do that, that's okay. And I understand that Dana wants to promote that, so he does in the UFC, where he has a lot of people following the UFC, so he promotes it on there. But I know for sure, like maybe 80%, 85% of the fans don't give a shit about it. You know what I mean? There are some people who really like it. That's no problem. You can like it, but you shouldn't be. Man, I wish we had Zuffa boxing instead of this. You know what I mean? That would have been much better.
That's happening anymore. I'm pretty sure that's not happening. Nunes Pena, what about that fight? Was it? Oh, the blood. I guess he's saying the blood. Yeah, that was pretty.
Oh, the blood. Yeah.
Love the Fast and Spirit, Marcel. Dutch Snorlack, as you said. Yeah, Marcel. I should have worn something like that. A couple more fights, Marcel. Manel Kopp. I mean, we both were pretty high on him winning this fight, and he won against David Dvorak.
Dvorak.
Yeah.
How did he got out of that Kimura, and how did he not get finished in the second?
I don't know
round?
how his shoulder didn't fall off, man. Honestly, that was nasty. It looked like after the round, he was fucked up or something. He might be out for a while. I think he fucked his shoulder up.
Yeah.
And then Sergey Morozov just, pretty much puts a wrestling clinic on Drew Dudu, so no surprise there. That was another fight that I felt really confident in. It's crazy. Like I feel like the first call fights we bang on here. So, anyways, Marcel, I mean that's it for the UFC Vegas 66. Anything else you want to say? You want to talk about those couple fights I just mentioned? Anything else you want to say?
No, I think it was a smart game plan from Sergey Morozov. What he did, we knew he was strong on the ground, and he got the ground game going on. So really good for him. And for Cap, we both picked Cap, and he did well. I think it's his third consecutive win. Yeah, good. After a slow start in the UFC, he's looking good now, and he's in the top 10 finally. So I'm looking forward what's next for him. I think he's very talented, and it was like it's because of Dvorak he didn't get a finish, because I think he would have finished many other guys in that position in the either first or second round.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I think that's it. Michael and Curtis, Alexiak and Chris Curtis, that'd be a fun fight actually. John says Dana ran for boxing videos is going to get Raman Aliak. Yeah, that's probably the case too. Anyways, that's it for UFC Vegas 66 recap. So yeah, last UFC card of the year. There's still a Cage Warriors card. There's a Bellator Rising card, and that's it. For them in 2022. First time, I just want to say thanks to everyone who's tuned in this year. It's always good to have people on channels. Obviously, a lot of regulars. You guys know who you are. We appreciate it, and the people even that just stop in and say hi once in a while. We appreciate you guys too. So I think that's it for this podcast. First off, we're just going to do a really short one after this, guy. I'll start immediately after this, and that'll be the last one for this year. And like I said, stay tuned on our Twitter. I'll hopefully have some news as far as 2023 goes. The hope is that we'll be able to continue the show at the same time, and that's the hope. But at this point, we're going to just reassess for the next 10 days, just because honestly, I don't want to do the podcast next week. We talked to Marcel with holidays. We need a week off. I think it's fair. Because otherwise, we're going to just talk about who we think will win the belt next year. We'll talk about that in the new year. You know what I mean? We'll talk about that in January or something. If anyone bets your predictions, you got to do yours besides Brundage. I know, Jesus, that guy, man. Actually, this wasn't my best card, though, to be fair, man. It wasn't. Cap and Albazi, yeah, it'd be a good fight. I think that's another really good fight. Cop is so underrated in the division, in my opinion. Marcel, follow him on Twitter, Big Marcel 24. Follow me on Twitter at Adam Martin. Podcast @emailsburger.com. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it, guys. Appreciate it. Anything else you want to say, Marcel, quickly? Like I said, we're going to start one last little podcast here, and that's it. Anything else you want to say?
I hope you guys watch the next podcast after this. If you don't watch this next podcast, I wish everybody happy holidays, and see you next year.
There you go. So thanks, Marcel. Thanks to you guys for joining us. Just stay tuned, guys. We'll tweet it on the second here. And if not, I'll see you guys in the new year. But if you are around, come join us for the next one. We're just going to do UFC fight announcements. Go to Marcel's page, look at some new fights coming up. All right, talk to you guys in a sec. Bye.